Wood Mansion, Sarah, Alex, and Mark, armed with flashlights and a sense of adventure, cautiously pushed open the creaking gate that guarded the property. As they stepped onto the overgrown path leading to the mansion, an eerie stillness settled over the air, making their skin prickle with unease. Inside, the air hung heavy with dust and an otherworldly chill. The friends explored room after room, their flashlights revealing dusty furniture draped in ghostly sheets. Unsettling portraits lined the walls, eyes in the paintings seemingly following their every move. A distant sound echoed through the mansion, a mournful melody that sent shivers down their spines. The trio reached a grand ballroom, its once opulent chandeliers now swaying precariously from the ceiling. As they gazed around in awe, a sudden gust of wind extinguished their flashlights, plunging them into darkness. Panic set in as the haunting melody grew louder, seemingly coming from the heart of the mansion, guided only by the faint moonlight filtering through cracked windows. They stumbled toward the sound. Whispers echoed through the hallways, telling tales of lost love and unspeakable tragedy. Shadows danced on the walls, taking on the forms of figures long gone. In the center of the mansion, a grand staircase loomed ominously. As they climbed, the air thickened with the weight of the past. The friends found themselves in a dimly lit room adorned with tattered curtains and faded wallpaper. In the corner, a flickering candle illuminated a dusty old photograph. The photograph depicted a family, their faces worn with sorrow. A young woman, with hauntingly familiar eyes, stood at the forefront. Sarah gasped, recognizing the resemblance to her own reflection in the dusty mirror. The revelation sent a shiver down her spine, connecting her inexplicably to the mansion's tormented history. Suddenly, a cold breeze swept through the room, extinguishing the candle. The room plunged into darkness, and the friends heard the soft whisper of a woman's voice, pleading for release from the chains of the past. The ghostly figure of the woman materialized before them, her eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and longing. "I need your help," she implored, her voice echoing through the empty halls. "Break the curse that binds my spirit to this place. Only then can my restless soul find peace." As the friends stood frozen in fear, the woman's apparition faded away, leaving behind a lingering sense of urgency. The friends exchanged nervous glances, realizing they had unwittingly become entwined in a ghostly saga that demanded resolution. Determined to uncover the truth, Sarah, Alex, and Mark continued their exploration of the mansion. Little did they know that the answers to the mystery lay hidden in the darkest corners of Ravenswood Mansion, waiting to be unearthed. The trio, driven by a newfound sense of purpose, delved deeper into the mansion's secrets. Each room seemed to hold fragments of the past, revealing glimpses of a family torn apart by betrayal and tragedy. As they explored, the ghostly apparitions became more pronounced, their silent pleas for salvation echoing through the empty corridors. In a forgotten library, with shelves burdened by the weight of dusty tomes, Sarah discovered a journal. Its pages told the story of the mansion's original occupants, the Ashcroft family, a tale of forbidden love, jealousy, and a curse cast in the throes of despair unfolded before her eyes. The family's patriarch, Victor Ashcroft, had made a deal with a mysterious entity to ensure his family's prosperity, only to have the bargain spiral into a series of calamities that haunted the family for generations. Sarah, now realizing her connection to the Ashcroft bloodline, felt an inexplicable pull toward the mansion's hidden passages. Following the ethereal whispers, the friends stumbled upon a concealed chamber, its entrance obscured by layers of ancient tapestries. In the center of the room lay an ornate chest covered in symbols that seemed to pulse within otherworldly energy. As they cautiously opened the chest, a spectral mist enveloped the room, revealing a vision from the past. Victor Ashcroft, tormented by guilt, performed a mysterious ritual to bind the family's fate with the mansion. The vision faded, leaving behind a chilling silence. A sudden realization dawned upon them: the curse could only be broken by unraveling the threads of the past and confronting the entity that held the Ashcroft family in its clutches. The friends, now united by a common purpose, embarked on a quest to find the elusive answers that would set the spirits free. Their journey led them to forgotten chambers and hidden passages, where the boundaries between the living and the dead blurred. The ghostly apparitions guided them, their whispers revealing cryptic clues and warnings of impending doom. Shadows danced in the corners of their vision, and the mansion seemed to come alive with a malevolent energy. As they delved deeper into the mysteries, a sense of urgency gripped them. The entity that bound the Ashcroft family to Ravenswood Mansion grew stronger with each passing moment, its dark presence manifesting in unsettling phenomena. The friends, now facing both the supernatural and the tangible, pressed on with determination, their quest for resolution taking unexpected turns. Little did they know that their journey would lead them to the heart of the curse, where the boundaries between the living and the dead would shatter, revealing a truth more horrifying than any ghostly apparition. The mansion, with its centuries-old secrets, held the key to a destiny intertwined with the echoes of the past. As they approached the climax of their quest, the shadows whispered of a final confrontation that would decide the fate of Ravenswood and the tormented souls bound within its walls. The friends, now gripped by a sense of impending doom, followed the spectral guidance deeper into the mansion. Each step echoed through the hollow halls, resonating with the weight of centuries-old secrets. As they approached the heart of the curse, the atmosphere grew thick with an otherworldly tension. A hidden chamber, concealed behind a crumbling wall, awaited them. The air within felt charged, and a soft, ominous hum filled their ears, illuminated by the faint glow of unearthly symbols etched into the walls. The room seemed to pulsate with a dark energy. In the center of the chamber stood an ancient altar adorned with cryptic runes. A low, haunting chant echoed, growing louder with every passing moment. The friends exchanged uneasy glances, realizing they had stumbled upon the epicenter of the curse, the nexus where the Ashcroft family's fate had been entwined with the malevolent entity. As they gazed upon the altar, a shadowy figure materialized, its form shifting between ethereal mist and a sinister silhouette. The entity spoke with a voice that seemed to reverberate from the depths of the underworld, weaving tales of betrayal and sorrow. It revealed itself as the Arbiter of Souls, a being bound by the pact forged by Victor Ashcroft in a desperate bid for prosperity. The friends listened in horrified fascination as the Arbiter detailed the consequences of Victor's ill-fated bargain. The curse had become a conduit for the entity's power, siphoning the life force of the Ashcroft descendants to sustain its malevolence. Only by confronting the entity and breaking the ancient pact could the curse be lifted, freeing both the living and the dead from its suffocating grip. The spectral apparitions that had guided them thus far coalesced into the figures of long-lost family members, ethereal allies, urging them to fulfill the destiny woven into their bloodline. Sarah, Alex, and Mark, now facing an unimaginable adversary, grappled with the weight of their newfound legacy. The friends braced themselves for a final, harrowing confrontation. The symbols on the altar glowed brighter, casting an eerie glow across the room. The entity, sensing the imminent threat to its existence, unleashed a torrent of supernatural forces, phantom winds, shadowy apparitions, and a chorus of anguished wails that reverberated through the mansion. As the friends prepared to confront the Arbiter of Souls, a chilling uncertainty hung in the air. The destiny of Ravenswood Mansion rested on their shoulders, and the spectral voices whispered of a choice that would determine not only their fates but the fate of the cursed bloodline itself. The altar pulsed with an ominous energy, and the friends steeled themselves for a battle that transcended the boundaries between the living and the dead. The climax of their journey awaited an ending that would either break the shackles of the past or plunge Ravenswood into eternal darkness. As the friends stood before the pulsating altar, the spectral figures urged them to channel the strength of their shared bloodline. With a collective breath, they summoned the courage to face the Arbiter of Souls. The entity, sensing their resolve, lashed out with a surge of malevolent energy, distorting the very fabric of reality. In a blinding flash, the friends found themselves transported to a surreal realm, a twilight junction between the living and the dead. The Arbiter, now an amorphous, shadowy presence, loomed over them. It spoke in haunting whispers, tempting them with promises of power and eternal dominion over Ravenswood Mansion. But the friends, bound by a newfound unity and the echoes of their shared ancestry, resisted the temptations. In a daring act of defiance, they confronted the Arbiter head-on, each contributing a piece of their essence to unravel the ancient pact. The very fabric of the curse trembled, and the mansion itself seemed to groan in response. As the Arbiter recoiled, weakened by the rupture of its hold over the Ashcroft bloodline, the friends felt a surge of ancestral energy coursing through them. It resonated with the symbols on the altar, forming an ethereal barrier that encapsulated the entity. The curse, now teetering on the brink of dissolution, cast an eerie glow across the surreal realm. Just as victory seemed within reach, an unexpected twist unfolded. A ghostly figure, clad in a tattered, ancient cloak, materialized beside the altar. The figure spoke with a voice that echoed with regret and longing the spirit of Victor Ashcroft himself. He pleaded with the friends to spare the Arbiter, revealing that its malevolence had been born from his own desperate actions. Torn between vengeance and forgiveness, the friends faced an agonizing choice. The spectral figures, now silent observers, watched as Sarah, Alex, and Mark deliberated over the destiny of the Arbiter. The mansion quivered with anticipation, and the surreal realm hung in the balance. In a surprising turn, the friends chose compassion. Understanding the cycle of pain that had ensnared both the living and the dead, they released the Arbiter from its ethereal prison. As the entity dissipated, a serene calm washed over the surreal realm, and the mansion itself seemed to exhale a sigh of relief. With the curse broken, the friends found themselves back in the decaying Ravenswood mansion. The spectral apparitions, now freed from their tormented existence, faded into the afterlife, leaving only a sense of tranquility in their wake. The mansion, once a bastion of sorrow, stood silent, a testament to the friends' courage and compassion. Yet, as they stepped out into the moonlit night, the friends couldn't shake the feeling that the legacy of Ravenswood lingered. Unanswered questions whispered in the wind, and the mysteries of the past echoed through the abandoned halls. The true nature of the curse, the enigmatic entity, and the consequences of their choices remained elusive, leaving the door ajar for the possibility of unforeseen repercussions. The friends, now bound by a shared experience that transcended the realms of the living and the dead, left Ravenswood Mansion behind. But the shadows of the past lingered, and the true resolution of the ghostly saga remained an enigma destined to haunt the minds of those who dared to uncover the mysteries of the cursed estate.